How has the program evolved and progressed during the time you've been here?
I'll say it progressed. Like everybody's like mindset has changed, and everybody bought into Coach Franklin's method and what he wanted to do with Penn State. And as time went along, guys just started to believe in his system and started clicking.
Obviously, the program was in a tough time when you came here. What made you decide to come to Penn State?
I would say all those tragic incidents, like everything that was going through with Penn State, really didn't like play into a part, like as far as my decision coming to Penn State. Like, not having a bowl game, just playing the season just for our our sake and just our happiness. But like that's just something I just want. I liked Penn State and all, like the tradition behind it. I liked the people in Penn State. You get a great education, and then you playing big time football. Like Big Ten football is like that's the best you can do. Like especially Big Ten and SEC. Playing big time football at Penn State. Like you always remember like the people that played for Penn State. Like the history behind Penn State is just all that played a part with me in my decision.
Marcus Allen as a freshman on the field versus Marcus Allen as a senior, what's the biggest difference in your mind?
Raw talent, a gullible kid, just playing with straight emotion, and didn't really know the game of football in general. And senior Marcus still play with emotion and passion, but really I learned way more of like football in general. Like I got taught like the ins and outs of football, down and distance, formation, recognition, checks, calls. Although my freshman year I made those checks and calls because I had a great model in front of me, like somebody that I could definitely look up to and like lead me in the right way, like Ryan Kaiser. But I think as time went along and Coach Banks came, he taught me the game like in and out, man. Like I give him all the props for that. Like and I'm still learning as well. So I'll just say I'm just more mature.
Marcus, when you got the news Coach Franklin was going to be the new head coach at Penn State, you and the others who had committed to Bill O'Brien, I know often there's recruiting class text threads. What was all your what was your reaction generally about the new coaching staff and kind of the unknown that you all were facing as commits to Coach O'Brien?
I mean, when Coach O'Brien left, it hurt a little bit. It was me and Mark. Me and Mark was we were in a hotel party. It was like New Year's Eve, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man, we was having fun, in a hotel party, and then we always saw on the news. We stopped having fun and we looked on the news, and like just watching, ESPN or something, and they was talking about Coach OB leaving, and then that's when, like, we was asking like, yo, what's going on, and he didn't say nothing, but then, like 20 minutes later, got a call from Coach O'Brien. Went in the hallway, left the party, and then I was like just talking to him. He said, "Man, you're a heck of a player, and want you to keep, striving, play for Penn State." And I just said, "I understand, Coach. I understand you gotta do what you gotta do," and that was it. And then he called Mark right after me, so I guess it's like going down the roster. It was crazy though. Everybody started hitting us up. Like all the recruits, we started texting in the group message like, "What we gonna do?" Like, but to be honest, Mark, he was 100%, man. Like Penn State kept the whole class together. We were a family. We started building that bond outside of football before we even stepped foot on Penn State. So that's why.
Hey, DaeSean, what do you know about Nebraska, their tradition, their program, and has James talked about that aspect of Nebraska at all?
I actually don't really know too much about Nebraska.
Coach Franklin has touched on it. Coach Moorhead touched on it a little bit. Kind of, they have a lot of history like Penn State does. But other than that, I don't really know too much about Nebraska.
Do you know they're the only team that you haven't beaten since you've been here? You haven't played.
Yeah.
Yeah, double-edged sword.
Yeah, I know that much. But other than that, I don't know really anything about.
Is that important to have beaten every team during your time here?
Yeah. I mean, I think that would be all of them.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, then I guess that's the final step, just to beat all the teams in the Big Ten. But yeah, that would be pretty cool to, I guess, say for the future. Yeah.
It's almost like you kind of bridged two programs coming in with the previous staff. Are you still tight with a lot of those guys, the Genos and Akils and people like that?
Yeah, I still talk to Gino. Me and Gino hit each other up every couple of weeks, just talk and see how each other are doing. And just catch up and basically just like relive a whole. Sometimes we talk in the hotel on Friday nights, FaceTime them with like guys like Saeed and Jawan, guys that were still on the team when he was here. Talk to him, talk to guys like B-Bell, talk to Malik. Basically, yeah, I talked to a lot of the guys from the past because that's obviously this is my first year and there's really not too many besides like the other redshirt seniors. There's no one else from that class still left or anyone from the prior teams, obviously. So I like to keep in touch with them a little bit and, just to see how they're doing, stuff like that.
How good do you feel about what you were a part of in terms of where this program is now as opposed to where it was when you were a redshirting freshman?
Yeah, it feels really good. I don't really think about basically what we've turned this into, really, obviously because I'm in this every day and we're working every single day, so I don't really get to sit back and think about it. But seeing basically where we used to be to where we are now, that's obviously noticeable, and it's really we're light years ahead of what we used to be, and it's really cool to see how much this team has grown, how much talent we're bringing in, basically how much depth we have at every single position, and how good guys are going to be in the future. It's really cool to see.
What have you seen from Jawan since he's kind of joined the post-practice catching group with you guys? And he said that your work ethic inspired him to want to.
Yeah, Jawan, he's always been someone that's been down to work with me all the time. Then he would see like me and Mike, and he just wanted to come in and join, and we gladly welcomed him, obviously. But Jawan, he's another hard worker, especially as a wide receiver. He's gonna need that. And you see him just gaining confidence on Saturdays, and he's being able to play with that confidence because he comes out, he performs well throughout the week, practices very well, he gets his extra work in so he can go into Saturdays feeling confident. That's basically what he's able to show.
Some receivers have said that you've helped them, get over big drops they might have had in the game, like you were in that position yourself versus Pitt last year. What do you say to a guy who might have dropped a pass and he's beating himself up on it, on the plane home? Yeah,
well, I mean, we got for example, DeAndre, Michigan State. I just told him we got a whole lot of football left. He has a whole lot of football left. He's been able to make a whole bunch of plays, and he's going to continue to make a whole lot of plays in the future as well. So, obviously, that play, it hurts right then and there, but we just got to get back to work, and then you work a lot harder. You work 10 times harder, so you don't have an opportunity like that to go by. And then the next time it does, I guess, approach itself, you're able to make the most of it. And that's really just kind of the main message that I get to a lot of those guys, because the fact that, this one play, it's obviously big in nature at that point in time, but there's so much more football probably left in your life and even in that season. So you really can't get down on that. You can't let that linger around too long. You just got to keep moving.
Hey, DaeSean, quick question about Nebraska. Is this the biggest secondary that you've gone against? They've got a couple of guys who are, big and long. And does that change anything for the receiving core about how you might attack them? Yeah,
it's probably one of the bigger secondaries I've gone against. A lot of teams in the Big Ten West, their DBs, and their whole team is huge. But yeah, then we approach them the same way. We obviously are aware of who our matchups are and things like that. But we know they're a pretty skilled group. They've been playing together for I'm pretty sure a long time, and they're real disciplined as well. So that's really the main thing we're focusing on.
Who's going to be the most emotional in that tunnel before the senior day stuff?
It might be me. I think it might be me, Marcus, for sure. Marcus would probably be one of the more emotional ones. Jason, probably. But yeah, among us three, I think it might be me the most. I've played like 50 games here, and that being my last time at Beaver Stadium, it's gonna hit a spot.
Has it hit you yet?
No, not yet. I've been thinking about it like sometime throughout this week, but it hasn't hit me like completely yet.
You mentioned the West. Is there a distinction in your guys' mind? You know that you're in the East and you're playing a West team. Does that come into play ever?
No, we obviously we just know basically from who we do play year in and year out and who we don't really get to see, things like that. But yeah, we know when you watch on film, you can kind of tell like what a true like Big Ten West team and Big Ten East team looks like. But yeah, we don't really pay too much mind to that. But we obviously we look and see how huge the guys are, and then we're like, okay, that makes sense. They're obviously on the west side of the conference.
How would you compare the locker room culture in 2014 when there was guys that were recruited by 3 different coaching staffs versus now when it's very like singular for the most part, recruited by the same staff? I know you were from an O'Brien era, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, back then you didn't have anywhere near the amount of chemistry that we have now. 2014, you had a whole lot of older guys that were just really trying to get their own. Obviously teaching the young guys the ropes and things like that, but it wasn't their coaching staff, so it wasn't really something that was that close to them, or they didn't feel as comfortable with that coaching staff. The new ones came in. It took them a while to warm up to them, and then now everyone's had the same coaching staff. We've all been around each other for years now. Then the young guys that are coming in, they can trust us because we basically have been through the fire with this coaching staff and basically been through it all from 2014 to now. And yeah, the locker room dynamic has changed. A lot of guys are really we're becoming an older team, and a lot of the guys, they've been playing together for a long time. So basically that whole chemistry, spending a lot of time around each other, it really shows, and that's why everyone enjoys being around one another, and we enjoy every moment with each other.